I'm going to do some videos on coatings. And you'll notice I don't call them paint, I call them coatings. Because I've been messing with different coatings for 30 years. Epoxies, urethanes, all kinds of exotic coatings. And alkyds, acrylics. I know the properties of all these different materials. And when I painted my interior on my home, I said, I'm just going to paint it once and I'm going to be done with it because I like the colors and that's what's going to happen. Now this coating that I have on here is a product called, or it was called at the time, this is probably 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old. This is Sherwin-Williams Centurion, which is a multi-component waterborne polyurethane. And this is not stuff to be applied by a homeowner, but I said I'm going to apply it once. It's not going to fade, it's not going to chalk. It's an industrial coating. This stuff is extremely durable and it flows out like you sprayed it. Couldn't flow any better. Basically the burnish resistance, the chemical resistance, this stuff will resist, medium industrial environment. So doing things differently is what I like to do. Most people would never paint their house high gloss, but I did, and I think it looks pretty fantastic. This wouldn't look necessarily good on a smooth wall unless you had a perfectly finished level 5 drywall finish that was perfect. And then it could be applied, but it would look like a red mirror. This is knockdown texture here, and this stuff's like tile. Now over here, I've got another product. This is Benjamin Moore. It's called Advance. This stuff is absolutely phenomenal. These are coatings that have been developed within the last 5 to 10 years. This Advance is a waterborne alkyd. It's a waterborne alkyd, so you can wash it up with water, although it doesn't clean up as quick as the pure acrylics. This stuff is like tile, and it flows unbelievably. And boy, you just try to scratch it, it's just not going to happen. Once it cures down, you give it about a 30-day cure. It's a single component waterborne alkyd. But these are some of the different coatings that I use, and I know what I'm talking about. Look at that. Wouldn't necessarily look good on a smooth wall, but on a textured wall, I've never had any complaints about the interior of this place. And I've got, in the total house here, I've got probably 17 different colors of paint. There's 2 of them in that lid. This is a different coating here. This is a semi-gloss coating. This is a regular acrylic. Extremely durable, fade resistant. And then I came down here and kind of did the acrylic here. Acrylics are the way to go for your average person. But I'm not your average person, and I can get these coatings. And then I did this in here. This is where my wood stove is. This stuff's very temperature resistant. Centurion waterborne polyurethane. You can brush this stuff out and it will flow out, and it will lay like water. Dangerous stuff to work with. It's an isocyanate compound. You want to be careful working with it. You got to have a lot of air moving through. Most of your isocyanates, your polyurethane, multi-component solvent-based deals, they recommend that you use air feed hood, and that's simply because they're that dangerous. That's most of your automotive coatings. But yeah, that's a little bit of some of these coatings that I have. Most people would never paint their interior of their house high gloss, but look at that. And boy, that stuff's bulletproof. It is bulletproof. So I'm going to do a few more videos on different coatings. I might even bust out my Binks HVLP. Do a few tutorials. Because like I say, I've worked everywhere from Bill Gates' house to shipyards, stadiums, high-end residentials. Done it all. You might wonder what Bill Gates uses in his house. When I was there working on his house and some of the houses in the adjoining area that he purchased up, he was using Benjamin Moore Alkyd satin and pervo, which is a good material, but it's not as good as these ones. And mostly he liked the tipped off look, where you'll roll a surface, you'll roll a substrate out, and then you'll tip it off with a brush. It's kind of a Victorian finish. That's what Gates likes. A lot of wealthy people like that look. It's very attractive. But boy, oh boy, look at that stuff. You wouldn't think to paint your house semi-gloss, but I tell you what, it looks good in here. I've never gotten anything but compliments.